Here is a simple invitation when stubborn, resistant, hostile, grievous, shrinking thoughts come. When you find yourself in the midst of the argument with life and you get caught in maybe this shouldn't be happening, or how dare he do this, or how could they do this to me, or anything. I'm not pointing to specifics. I'm talking about a way of de-escalating the trigger, the reactivity within you in a way that is not convoluted or complex or doesn't require any degree in non-duality. It doesn't require any profound understanding of the nature of consciousness or anything like this. All of those things are pretty good, but this is very simple. If you catch yourself, if the trigger comes at you and you don't have any awareness of the trigger coming, then it can only happen afterwards or at a certain point as the trigger tails off, because the trigger rises up like a heat flash in a way, and you're caught in it. But inevitably, because everything that rises falls and every wave that comes goes, the nature of impermanence, as it tails off or trails off and leaves you whatever, empty or reflective or even regretful, or whatever comes in the tail of reactivity, then you can do it then. But if what I'm really inviting is something just before, as you see that the argument that you're having with reality is rising up because of something that's happening. So the self, as it starts solidifying into this kind of righteousness or victim or wrongtiousness or aggressor part of you, stop. And become bigger, wider, deeper, more vast, more open than the problem, than the issue, than the argument, or particularly than the thought. Because everything like that is going to have a thought somewhere in it. And that thought is the self. That thought is the small, aggravated self that started to say, this shouldn't be happening, and I know who I am in this. And if you dare to open, then I won't know who I am, and I won't have any benchmark, because I'm built on this righteousness. I'm built on this resistance. That's how I've established my identity. And so what I'm inviting is not something that argues with that, but something that opens wider than that. Open wider than your problems. Open wider than your thought of whatever is wrong. Become not theoretically like the sky. We're not talking theory here. We're talking an actual moment to moment, as you move through life, experience. This is a practice. It's not a practice in the conventional sense of sitting down to meditate. It's a practice that you can use in daily life, in the interactions with daily life, whether they're with people or they're just with yourself. Most reactivity is happening just within ourselves. We don't really need anybody else to trigger us. So as some reactivity is coming, is happening, and you find yourself where they are, hold on, stop, and open. Not open like open that you need to do anything, but just bear that in mind. Grow bigger than the thought. Get bigger, wider. be wider. You don't, and the being wider somehow, is a counterbalance to this funneling into self. It just ends up in a misery or suffering or war. And so, everybody wants to get beyond their trigger self, their reactive self, because they know somehow as soon as you're on the journey of spirituality, you know that reactivity is where the suffering is. And then, of course, it's how to get rid of that, what to do about that, because it's so compulsive and so incessant. So this is like a really useful, easy, maybe not, but it's useful to not think of solving the problem, but to think of getting wider than the problem. This works. You don't have to wonder what you're opening to or what's going to happen to you. You don't have to think on those big levels. You just have to be here, and as something is happening, because it will happen, it happens to everybody. You don't have to overcome it, you don't have to deny it. It's not about denying it, it's about just simply becoming wider than the thought and wider than the problem. And I just realised I wanted to share that on this day with you guys. Bless you.